guys, welcome back to our channel. This is Raisa with Society Cane Corso. So today we're going to talk about something that not very many people talk about. I'm going to give you all the scoop on poop. So when your dog is on a raw diet, what to expect from their stools, because things can kind of be a little scary at first when you first transition them. It's a lot of stuff that's different from the dog eating kibble. And if you've just started putting your dog on a raw diet and honestly you're thinking you have no clue what the hell you're doing, I promise you a good place to start will be looking at your dog's stools. So the stool is actually going to tell you a story of exactly what's going on with their diet. Are you feeding too much bone? Are you feeding too much things with green coloring? Are you feeding too much liver? So it really tells you a story of what's going on with their diet. There's just a lot of things that are different that you see in your dog's stools from when they eat kibble to versus a raw diet. And we'll kind of go through those and talk about that. So first, let's start off on the basis of the raw diet. So the raw diet, 4 main components, y'all, okay? So you have your meat, you have your other offal, you have your liver, and you'll have your bone. So like I said, we use something called raw pet, and that's how we personally calculate how much, based on the weight and age of our dogs, how much of a ratio they're getting for each of those things, or how much in ounces basically. And I'll also link that app down below. So let's talk colors. If you're feeding too much bone, what you're gonna see is like a white coating over the stool once it's dry. And then if you go to like pick it up as you're cleaning it and it just like crumbles, then you know that you're feeding way too much bone. There's too much calcium also that you can be giving your dog. So try to pull that back a little bit. Also with feeding liver, it can be kind of alarming if you overdo them on the liver content. What you're gonna see is like a really dark stool that can almost look bloody. Which if your dog eats kibble and they have a bloody stool, that like means you need to go to the vet more than likely. Anything but with the raw diet, you have to keep that in mind. Now, if it's consistently like that and you're taking the liver back, and the liver is very important to keep in the proportion that your dog specifically needs. It's important not to overfeed the organ meats and or not to underfeed them. So it really is important you're giving them the right ratio of food on the raw diet. Also, some people like to do like different greens, spinach I've seen put into dogs' food, other vegetables and things that are very rich in chlorophyll, which is that green coloring that you see. That can actually make your dog's poop completely green. So you just know, you can look at the poop and see if the levels that you're doing are working for your dog. And if not, you can kind of see what areas you need to pull back and reevaluate them on. So one of the reasons we actually transitioned Lycan to a raw diet so quickly was because on a raw diet, the stool does not smell as much. He was eating kibble and I would literally walk outside and like gag, like it was horrible, horrible, horrible. So with the raw diet, I'm noticing that his stool is a lot healthier. It's more regular. It's not stinky, like really like at all, which is phenomenal for me. So next we'll talk about the consistency of the stool. There is a fat component when you are feeding a raw diet. Some people like to include different oils for the coat. Yes, baby, there's clothes there. Different oils for the coat. Just fat in the meat. If you'll notice like a mucus almost in the poop, they're overeating on the fat, so you know to pull that back. So if you're feeding raw and you're just like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, take a look at the dog's poop. I promise you, it literally will tell you a story of what's going on with your dog. And there's a lot of people that I see, like the dog has kind of one runny poop or something and they freak out. They're calling the vet. Like sometimes something's just upset your dog's stomach. They've gone outside, they've eaten a twig or something, I would wait a little bit before you go into panic mode, especially once you first transition them over to a raw diet. They're going to have upset stomachs. It's nothing to be concerned about. Like, just like if you ate something that you've never eaten before, the likelihood of your stomach being a little bit upset before you get used to that food is higher than not, It's the same thing with your pups. So for Lycan, like he had like runny stool for, I would probably say like about a week when we first transitioned him over. But how you can combat that also is by adding some cooked rice into their diet. You can do canned pumpkin, but just make sure on the label it's like pumpkin only, because there's sometimes a lot of them have different additives in them. But yeah, like just stick with it, y'all. But thank you guys for watching. I hope it was at least a little bit informative for y'all. Until next time, have a great day, y'all.